G'day. Should F1 be racing here in Saudi Arabia? I've seen lots of comments on social media with people for and against racing in this country. There are some obvious reasons why people don't like it here, and I get that. The bomb attack going back a few years ago, although at the time it really wasn't a worry for me or most of the people in the paddock. I know the drivers had a meeting and they wanted to leave, and of course human rights comes up regularly. But here's what I can tell you about being here now. In particular, the welcome at the airport was something I've never experienced anywhere in my time in Formula One. There were so many people welcoming us as we came through those gates. People with flags. Well, I'm not sure if they were volunteers or paid staff, but when I exited the airport, I was in no doubt that we were very much welcomed.
Formula One, we are ready!
Certainly the government here is spending an absolute mozza in promoting the sport, and they see great future for it. Have you seen the new video about the track they're building just outside Riyadh?
I ain't got time to wait, I ain't got time. I gotta go high, I gotta elevate.
And will they be racing there every year? Somebody told me today it might be year on, year off, Jeddah, Riyadh, Jeddah, Riyadh. Certainly coming here at this time, it's not unbearably hot, not Qatar hot. And at night, it's quite joyous. This paddock is certainly world class. It is an excellent circuit. The drivers tell me they love driving it because it's so darn fast. A little dangerous, yes, with those walls coming up very close, but I guess that's what people want to see in Formula One. Something exciting, and with this race, we certainly get it. And price-wise, tickets are way cheaper than, say, a Las Vegas or a Monaco. I can tell you the food I've had here has been pretty darn good. Price-wise, it's nowhere near as expensive as some of the more expensive cities we travel to. And the locals just in the city here of Jeddah, very welcoming. And in the paddock, they're all just smiles. I'm not saying we should race here or we shouldn't. I'm more interested in your comments below. So do I want to be here? Well, I have to be here. And if I had my way, I'd have every race in Perth. But this is a business, and as such, we go where the sport takes us. Anyway, this is Media Day at the 2024 Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. What else has been happening? I went for a walk yesterday down pit lane, and as normal here at this race, we have the full driver's names in English and then the Arabic name as well above every driver's garage. Now, when you head out onto the main road, which I did, I came across a number of signs. In fact, every driver has one. So here we go with Lance Stroll. You've got a picture of him, obviously, and you've got his name, Stroll, and then you've got the Arabic font there. Now, I understand from your comments that the Arabic is actually their first name. So you've got Stroll here in English, and you've got Lance in Arabic. But have a look at Alonso. It took me a few seconds to work out that's either a wrong way round S or a Z. Either way is wrong. And I haven't seen all of them yet. I just simply haven't had time. That spans quite a long way. But I thought Fernando will be perhaps bemused when he finds out his name has been spelt wrongly. Let's talk about the media centre here. It's about 150 metres away from the paddock, and it's on an island. The drivers actually have to come to this media island for press conferences in a golf buggy. It takes them a minute or so to get here, and then they go into a tent for those press conferences. But our photographic tent is right behind me. Paddock-wise, it's one of the most beautiful paddocks that we have in Formula One once you get past the middle of the day. The lighting at night is beautiful to the eye. Now, some good news on the pricing front of the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Last year there were plenty of complaints about the organisers just gouging people. Good news is you can get a standing room ticket for as little as $150. Hang on, there are pluses, but I'll go into that in a second. That is just for FP1 and 2. You can get quali day for $225 and race day for $350. But what are those pluses? Well, there's a 9% tax, so your $150 becomes $163, $245 and $381, with your 3-day ticket going from $600 to $654. Plus the booking fee, and I couldn't find anywhere what that booking fee was. Maybe you know. It doesn't get you a seat. There are some raised platforms, but they're not guaranteed, so you need to get there early and stay there to make sure you don't get them pinched by others. And what's the most expensive package that they're selling? $38,150 United States dollars for one person for a race weekend ticket in the F1 garage. Now, this is pretty much the bee's knees. It's in pit lane. You'll be situated next to either Haas or Red Bull, and you are effectively in where a team would be located if there was another team. Yes, it's amazing food and beverages. Yes, you'll get to rub shoulders with the hoi polloi, the A-listers, if you've got that amount of money. And I gather you'll probably go with your partner, so you're going to have to be stumping up the best part of $76,000 US, plus the booking fee. Do you watch Sky Sports coverage of F1? Yes? Okay. Well, you probably know Karun Chandok. He does a lot of stuff with that big screen. You see this, but if you come back a few meters, you see this. And as you can see, there is no cameraman, there is no producer, there is no one around Karun. He's out there on his own with an automated camera. And that's the way a lot of TV is going these days. For these videos that I record at the track, I record them through the day. So at the moment, we've got bright sunshine, but I may end up doing a bit later on where it's dark in the background. So please understand they're not all shot in one long sitting. See this paving down here? Well, that was all laid last night. Unfortunately, because the heavy equipment rolls in and out of here, forklifts carrying quite weighty stuff, all the tiles which were previously, these tiles down here, were cracked and they had to be madly replaced last night. There were, I'm thinking, 30, 40 people madly working away till the early hours of this morning, but today it's all been fixed. What's the latest on Christian Horner? Well, it appears he may have ridden things out according to a lot of the media I've spoken to today. He hasn't been in today, but it is media day and it's not uncommon for him not to arrive. And Jos Verstappen, is he here? No. Jos won't be here this race because he has another rallying commitment, and I believe he also won't be at the next two races. Now, as for comments you might have read about Red Bull crew being unhappy and the team about to explode, I'm not seeing it. The guys in the garage seem to be pretty down to earth. They're just doing their normal thing, and that is winning races. So I think there might be very little truth in the rumour that there's unhappiness. Certainly here at the paddock. I'm not sure what the situation is like back at home base in Milton Keynes. There's every chance you won't recognise this gentleman, but this is Eric van Haren. He is the Dutch journalist that broke the story about Christian and all this drama going back a few weeks ago now in the Telegraph newspaper in Holland. He wasn't in Bahrain, but he was here today and actually popped into the Red Bull hospitality suite to have a coffee, which I thought was pretty bold, but he wasn't turfed out. I'm not sure whether he was welcomed, but certainly he enjoyed a coffee on Red Bull. Well, the temperature's dropped a few degrees here in the paddock, and we're talking about Pierre Gasly now. He's coming to Australia, obviously, for the Australian Grand Prix. He told me last night, I saw him in the foyer of his hotel, we got to chatting, that he's going to stay on for a little bit in Australia, going to Sydney. Wanted to know what the sights and attractions were, and I've been to Sydney in ages, and he'd just actually come back from a 2-lap run around this monstrous Jeddah Corniche circuit. It was a little bit sweaty, but the better for the run. Now, I took a photo of Lando Norris just there earlier this morning, and he walked past me. He's wearing a bucket hat, and I put that picture up online. It wasn't until I got back to the media centre and looked at another frame that I realised it was a diddly squat bucket hat. Now, for those of you who don't know, diddly squat is Jeremy Clarkson's farm that he has in the Cotswolds in England. Now, Jeremy was a guest of McLaren's last weekend in Bahrain. I had a chat with a couple of the McLaren PR ladies, and they seemed to think that it wasn't given to him then. But anyway, nice to see him wearing that hat. It's a marvellous business, the Diddley Squat Farm. And if you haven't seen that series, I advise you to go and have a look. I find it to be thoroughly enthralling. Well, that brings us to an end of another F1 video. If you've enjoyed it, please hit the like button and subscribe. And for a whole lot of extra content and merch, go here. Thanks for watching, and stay passionate.